Is it possible to have too much money in your 401k? We'll explore that and more next. Hey everybody, today we're looking at a very interesting Reddit post that I recently stumbled upon. It was posted to the Chubby Fire Reddit group. This is a group of people who are looking to retire early and maybe not live super frugally, but also not live the most lavish lifestyle in the world. So these are people that, tend to be looking for several $1,000,000 in retirement that you can then go continue to live your life, take a different job, whatever you want to do. So let's dive into this really interesting situation and give our take. This isn't personalized financial advice, but we're just kind of giving our take here at 24/7 Wall Street. What are our observations and what might we be able to learn from this post? So let's get into the specifics of this person and their posting. So it's a married couple. They're both in their late 30s. And they have 3 children under the age of 3. So they certainly have their hands full, as they call out. And here's what their financial snapshot looks like. They have a $1.1 million net worth, and that excludes their home, right? Their home equity right now. We'll get into that in just a second. And their assets are broken down like this. They have $120,000 in a high yield savings account. They have just under $1 million in retirement accounts. So they have $960,000 in retirement accounts. That's across a 401k, 403b, and an IRA. They have $22,000 across 3 different 529 college savings plans. Again, they have those 3 kids, and they have $12,000 in a taxable brokerage account. Then they call out their primary residence. It is valued, according to them, maybe they're using Zillow or something else, at $1.7 million, and they have around $500,000 in equity. So they have $1.2 million left of that mortgage debt at a 5% interest rate. Their income is quite healthy. As a household income, they make $475,000 a year. The husband calls out that he maxes out his 401k every year, and the wife is starting to go back to work part-time, and she's going to earn $45,000 per year working 1 day per week. Sounds pretty good to me. And she's not going to get an employer match, but she will have access to a 403b. Again, that's very similar to a 401k. 403b is often offered to teachers, people in that type of profession. They live in a very high cost of living area. So what are their questions? Their main questions are, should they continue to prioritize contributing to retirement and tax deferred accounts like a 401k and a 403b, given that they already have almost $1 million in retirement accounts? So specifically, the poster is wondering, should they direct 50% of the wife's new paycheck to the 403b, again, close to, call it $20,000 per year, in order to maximize their tax advantage savings? Or if they don't prioritize the 403b and tax deferred accounts, what should they do with the money? What other savings vehicles or strategies should they consider given their current asset allocation? So here's my take. Again, this is just my opinion. In their late 30s, having almost $1 million in retirement accounts is a really great place to be, even if they do live in a high cost of living area. They've got a lot of time for that to compound. So they should feel really, really great about that. And they have this great income at $475,000 per year. Now, they don't get into what their spending is. That's obviously a huge factor in all personal finance and retirement planning situations is, if you spend a lot of money, you're going to need a lot more money in that retirement account. So we don't have that exact information here. I'm going to go ahead and guess that they're not the most frugal in the world, just again, given that really high income, and they have great savings, but it's not millions and millions of dollars so far. So I'm going to guess that they spend, moderate amount of money, not a ton, but I don't think they're living super, super below their means and trying to save every single penny. So I don't have that assumption in writing here from the post. So let's just assume they've got that really great income. They have $1 million. A few things that really jump out to me are the only $12,000 in a taxable brokerage account. Again, it's great to have $1 million in a 401k, but that money, especially if you're in your late 30s, you are not going to be able to touch that without taking a penalty or paying taxes on it for decades. So I don't know what this person's goal is. If they want to retire early, I would suggest, if it were me, I would start devoting a little bit more money to that taxable brokerage account because it's just more easily accessible if you want to draw that money earlier versus having it in a tax deferred account like a 403b or a 401k. So that really jumps out to me as, at this income with that amount of retirement, it may not be a bad idea to start thinking a little bit more about the taxable brokerage. Now, that said, again, with that really high income, they're at a high marginal tax bracket here. So I wouldn't fault them, if it were me, to continue putting some of that money into the 403b. So if you're thinking about, half of her $45,000, call it 20. If it were me, I would consider putting maybe half of it into the taxable, half of it into the tax deferred, just to have a little bit more flexibility and start to build up that taxable brokerage account, which is a really great account. Yes, it's the word taxable is in there, but once the money is in there, if you're holding for long-term capital gains, that's at tax advantage rates, and dividends can be qualified as well, which can be taxed at a lower rate. So there can be a lot of benefits of getting money into that taxable brokerage account because of its more accessible nature. The other thing I would just say, with 3 kids, I don't know what their goals are in terms of education, but having $22,000 is great. It's more than many Americans have saved at that point for a college savings plan. But 3 kids, probably, he said they're under 3, so they've got about 15 years plus in order for this money to grow before their kids are going to college. $22,000 isn't a ton if they have dreams of sending their children to private colleges. It's hard to forecast what exactly that's going to cost in 15 to 20 years, but it's going to be a lot more than 22,000, even with a pretty significant growth rate assumed there in that 529. Again, the other big benefit of a 529 is that that money grows tax-free in terms of the gains, and when you pull it out and use it on qualified educational expenses, you won't pay capital gains on that. So it's a type of account that actually benefits from more time. The more time the money is in the 529 account, the better. So that's another area. Again, if we're thinking about, if I was in a situation where if I have new income coming in, I'm trying to figure out where to allocate it, I would certainly consider the taxable. I'd also consider maybe increasing that 529, again, just for maybe next couple of years while their children are young, to give that money time to grow. So there's a lot of different options. It's not the worst thing in the world to just continue pouring money into those tax deferred accounts, especially at this high income, and continue to grow that $1 million into multiple millions over the next several decades, hopefully. But if it were me, not personalized advice to this poster, I would consider diversifying a little bit, just to have a little bit more flexibility in my life, rather than having so much of my net worth tied up into the 401k. So that's my take. I'd love to hear anyone's opinions on this poster. What would you do if you were in a situation? And be sure to tune in next time for more 24/7 Wall Street Reacts.